Hey, what's up? It's JJ. Welcome to week 8 of the NFL season. Can you believe it's week 8 already? It's pretty much the halfway point. But getting into my picks, we're going to start off with Minnesota traveling to Green Bay. The Vikings are 1-5. The Packers are 5-1. My pick for this one is the Packers, of course. I ride that train every week. Sometimes it works, obviously. Sometimes not so much, but I think we can beat the Vikings. But looking at our injury report, it's kind of worrisome. Our questionable list is ridiculous. It's a very long list that includes Aaron Jones, a running back, Tyler Ervin, our return man, Kevin King, our cornerback, Equanimus St. Brown, our wide receiver, Mercedes Lewis, our tight end, Mason Crosby, our kicker, Darnell Savage, Za'Darius Smith, Chris Barnes, Rashawn Gary, David Bakhtiari, and there's a few more. But most of these players are expected to play. For the Vikings, out is Holton Hill, the cornerback, Todd Davis, the linebacker, and Mike Hughes. They are all out. Questionable is Dalvin Cook with a groin injury and Dan Chisena. All right, next up is the Titans traveling to Cincinnati. The Titans are 5-1. Bengals are 1-5-1. My pick is the Titans in this one. Injury report for the Bengals. Listed as doubtful is John Ross, the wide receiver. Listed as out is Jonah Williams, the offensive tackle. Trey Hopkins. Joe Mixon, the running back, is out with a foot injury. For the Titans, 8 players on the questionable list, including A.J. Brown, the wideout, Jonathan Joseph, the cornerback, and Jadeveon Clowney, the defensive end, who did not practice on Wednesday. And next up is the Jets traveling to Kansas City. The Jets are 0-7. Chiefs are 6-1. In this game, I have the Chiefs. Looking at the injury report, the Chiefs out is Mitchell Schwartz, the offensive tackle. Sammy Watkins, the wide receiver, has a hamstring injury. And listed as questionable is Armani Watts. For the Jets, out is Bradley McDougald. Also, Brashad Perriman, the wideout, and Blake Cashman, the linebacker. Questionable, they have 7 players listed as questionable, including Jamison Crowder, the wide receiver, Frank Gore, the running back, and Jordan Jenkins. Next up, Colts travel to Detroit. The Colts are 4-2. Lions are 3-3. My pick is the Colts. Looking at the injury report, the Lions have the following players listed as questionable: Darrell Roberts, the cornerback; Desmond Trufant, the cornerback; Adrian Peterson, the running back, has an abdominal injury and was limited in Thursday's practice. Taylor Decker is also questionable. And if you were wondering, newly acquired Lion Everson Griffin is out because of COVID protocols. You have to test negative for COVID 6 days in a row. For the Colts, questionable is their center, Ryan Kelly, and tight end Mo Alley Cox. Moving along to Pittsburgh. They are traveling to Baltimore. Steelers are 6-0. The Ravens are 5-1. And my pick for this one's actually my upset pick because I'm picking the Ravens, which it's really not that much of an upset given their records, but everybody's got the Steelers. Pretty much every power rankings I've seen has the Steelers at number one this week. So I'm picking the Ravens, so we'll see where that gets me. Injury report for the Ravens, questionable Mark Ingram, the running back. He's got an ankle injury. He did not practice on Friday. Jimmy Smith, the cornerback, and Anthony Levine, the safety. For the Steelers, 5 players listed as questionable. Among them, Mike Hilton, not expected to suit up, and fullback Derek Watt. Next on deck is the Rams traveling to Miami. The Rams are 5-2. The Dolphins are 3-3. My pick for this one is the Rams. Injury report for the Rams, tight end Skylar Higbee is questionable. And for the Dolphins, out is Jamal Perry, the cornerback, and tight end Adam Shaheen is questionable. Next, the Patriots travel to Buffalo. Patriots are 2-4. Bills are 5-2. My pick is the Bills. Injury report for the Bills: out is Cody Ford, Josh Norman, and questionable is Micah Hyde with a concussion. Jerry Hughes, Vernon Butler, Matt Milano, and Isaiah McKenzie. For the Patriots, they have 11 guys listed as questionable, including Stephon Gilmore, Shaq Mason, the guard, and Damian Harris, the running back. Julian Edelman is doubtful with a knee injury. And next on deck, Las Vegas travels to the Browns. The Raiders are 3-3. The Browns are 5-2. Looking at the injury report for the Browns, besides their biggest news, which was Odell Beckham Jr. being placed on IR. Out for Cleveland is Austin Hooper, the tight end. Jacob Phillips, the linebacker. Wyatt Teller is out with a calf injury. And questionable is Myles Garrett, the defensive end. He is expected to practice, or he did practice yesterday, actually, and is likely to play. MJ Stewart Jr., the cornerback, and Jarvis Landry, as well as Kareem Hunt, J.C. Treader, and Jack Conklin. They are all questionable. For the Raiders, questionable is Josh Jacobs, the running back, Carl Nassib, Malik Collins, Arden Key, Brian Edwards, the wide receiver, practiced on a limited basis Wednesday. Keyshawn Nixon, the cornerback, and Sam Young, the offensive tackle. And moving along to the later games, the Chargers travel to Denver. LA is 2-4. The Broncos are 2-4 also. My pick in this one is the Chargers. Quick look at the injury report. Broncos out is Graham Glasgow, the guard. He tested positive for COVID. Questionable is Philip Lindsay, the running back. Deontay Spencer, the wide receiver. Tim Patrick, Andrew Beck, Jake Butt, Devontae Harris, and Jeremiah Atauchu. No, I didn't sneeze. That was his last name. And he is a linebacker. So I'm not going to say that again because he probably lay me out. Anyway, Chargers questionable is former Packer Brian Bulaga, Trey Turner, Melvin Gordon, Rayshawn Jenkins, and Storm Norton. I like that guy's name. Unfortunately, he's always on the injury report, but I feel like that'd be a cool name to have, Storm Norton. Like, you should automatically be a superhero with that name. All right, moving along to the Saints. They travel to Chicago to take on Doppers. My pick in this one is the Saints because I always pick against Chicago. Sorry. The injury report for the Bears: out is Cody Whitehair. Questionable is Allen Robinson, the wide receiver. Cordero Patterson, the wide receiver. And Eddie Jackson, as well as Sharik McManus. And Khalil Mack, who has an ankle injury and did not practice on Wednesday. For the Saints, questionable is Marquez Callaway. He's a wideout. Michael Thomas, their other wideout. Nick Easton, their center. And Teron Armstead, the offensive tackle. All right, next up, the 49ers travel to Seattle. 49ers are 4-3. The Seahawks are 5-1. My pick for this one is the Seahawks. Looking at the injury report, out for Seattle is cornerback Shaquille Griffin. He has a concussion and a hamstring injury. Did not participate in practice. Running back Carlos Hyde. Also a hamstring injury. Guard Mike Iupati, or Lupati. I'm not sure how you say that, but he has a back injury. Safety Ugo Amadi has a hamstring injury. Questionable is Chris Carson. Running back Travis Homer. Defensive end Benson Mayowa. Safety Jamal Adams. And safety Ryan Neal. For the 49ers, out is Debo Wilson. He's a wide receiver. Also running back Jeffrey Wilson. Doubtful is Richie James, as well as safety Jaquiski Tart and linebacker Quan Alexander. Questionable is Jimmy Ward and defensive lineman Katavius Street. And moving on to the Sunday night game, The Cowboys travel to Philly. Cowboys are 2-5. Eagles are 2-4-1. My pick is the Eagles. Injury report for the Cowboys. Andy Dalton is questionable with a concussion. Coach McCarthy stated if Dalton doesn't practice Saturday, he will not play, and he was not expected to play or to practice on Saturday. I haven't checked the latest news, so I'm not exactly sure if he'll be playing or not. For the Eagles, there's 10 players listed as questionable, including Alshon Jeffrey, the wideout, who was held out of Thursday's practice with a calf injury. Also, Lane Johnson, the offensive tackle, who suffered an MCL sprain during last Thursday's win over New York. The Monday night game, this is going to be either a blowout or one of those surprise games. The Buccaneers traveled to take on the Giants. Buccaneers are 5-2. The Giants are 1-6. My pick in this one is the Buccaneers. I'm still traumatized by their win over my Packers. The injury report for the Giants, 6 players listed as questionable, including wideout Sterling Shepard, running back Devontae Freeman, and place kicker Graham Gano. For the Buccaneers, questionable is Antoine Winfield Jr., Jason Pierre-Paul, Rob Gronkowski, who had limited participation in practice Thursday, and Scotty Miller, the wide receiver. Out is wideout Chris Godwin.